Is it wrong for me to wish that this series doesn't get a season 3 for anime, especially if under the same studio? Morale is crucial in the act of war. Strength and integrity doesn't have to be only from oneself. It can come from a group. Kingdom has portrayed this as a key factor in winning a battle or war. Mako army has no morale to fight and everything seems to be a lost cause. That's where Moten steps in and tries to reverse it. It's been a long wait for the next chapter, but this is well worth it. The main objective is to regain the morale of Mako army after losing their leader. It's a clear sign that they lost all the will to care and practically became fodder targets for Zhao's army. It's like switching difficulty from expert to very easy. It no longer provides any challenge. I believe this is the first time that we are witnessing the in-depth look of an army after losing their founding leader. If so, it's no wonder it feels riveting and captivating with their emotional disconnection. We have seen leaders dying while the army is still around, but not to this extent where they have no orders to stand by or have any enlightening words. They are like people who never experienced sadness until now. When it occurs, their first emotional reaction will be a heavy one. In this case, they are powerful men, but once Mako died, they are nearly the opposite. Although I do feel bad for them, there is no room for depression in this battle. Moten and Shin can only express disappointment, and that's the way to go. Moten has been no doubt impressive in this arc, mainly because of excellence in command, and this is no exception. This is the case of how to restore their morale, and it was all around clever and brilliant. He starts off lashing out at them for being such a disgrace in the battle, yet Choyo and others can't regain any momentum. It doesn't shy away that Mako army doesn't have enough strength to pull a comeback with reasonable doubts. Not only Zhao's momentum is incredible, but they don't have any tactician. Moten recites his thought and begins to talk to them like he's in command of the army. It's fitting to note that he observed Mako army to understand them individually, which gives him the advantage to reach out to them closer. This is where he begins to plan out on how to find their lost morale. It will sound crazy, but it's a well-played tactical maneuver. I thought it was strange to force Mako army to rely on false report of Mako being alive. The lie can actually be driving force to push their senses back into the game. It has that feeling of unease to use a lie to motivate them, but in reality, it will only be the first step. The crazy and near suicidal task is to have Shin and Riko-sen to barge in the line of enemy where it has the most survivors. It's like Moten was handing out death flags to his comrades because he wants to be the general. It's like, hey, here you go, take the flag so you could die. But seriously, it's absolute for them to take action. To make matter crazier, they have to force themselves to cause a scene and literally raise the flag higher to say, "We're over here! Kill us all!" It's enticing for them to go this far to draw bait and risk their low count of men just to bring life to Mako army. It's also enticing that it slowly begins a momentum for them, from being very curious to see if the report is a lie to feeling the rising power from seeing the flags. Time is an essence, and by that point, Shin and Riko-sen can't deal with large reinforcement heading towards them. The tension has increased and the time to resurrect the army gradually becomes exciting and motivating. The best moment is at the end because it made this chapter as a whole outstandingly lifting. Kingdom addressed countless times that words are powerful enough to be considered as a weapon. No is not used for talk no jutsu to their enemy, but to their own men. Moten knows this all too well and asks Choyo what words Mako always said to his men. I'll admit, I got a bit emotional when he begins to tear, and it's because this chapter itself has been an overall reflection of an army. You can make a documentary out of them titled The Fall and Rise of Mako Army. Because of the build-up, the ending truly justifies the mean. Stand and fight. Those simple words are powerful enough to motivate the entire army. The thought of Mako being alive has transformed into an inspiring imagery. It reminds me of another series with similar effect. Words can be powerful enough to erase the fear and uplift them to their prime level. What truly helped is the presentation. I went into this chapter thinking it would be easy to get them back on their feet. Fortunately, Hara goes into depth in brilliant detail. The way how these people slowly transform to their brute self is compelling and moving. The difference effect begins to surface once the false report spreads. The expressions are convincing to know how much it hit them with Mako's death. By the end, it can be a teary moment to see them cry out in roaring passion and rejuvenated their momentum. All thanks to Moten. Moten is the man! I really enjoyed this chapter for its compelling and uplifting segments. The tension runs high when Shin and others have to put themselves in the danger field with time running thin. The whole plan is cleverly well thought out from Moten. He should really get that title. Kisui is back in panic mode. How about that? Seriously, it really sucks to be him. I'm giving this chapter a 9. Now that the chapter releases are pretty much out of place, it is what it is. I could wait. But then again, if the things gets way too hype, that's going to be a troubling feeling. What are your thoughts of this chapter? Now that Kisui is back on the danger zone, again, who do you think is still going to take that kill? Would it be Moten, Shin, or someone else entirely? I still have my money on Moten. I'm keeping that on the lock. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel, and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.